Hello, everybody. This is Jacob from Wager Me This, and this is going to be Wednesdays with Wager NFL show, week 11. Week 11 in the NFL season already. That's a lot of weeks already. Why isn't that sitting still? Anyway, hopefully you guys are doing great. Last week, our Thursday night game went exactly as expected, I guess. Baltimore and the Bengals did not disappoint. There's a lot of fun. I think I hit every bet I put out on here, I believe, in that game. That was fun. It's good. It's always good to win a lot, right? Win a lot of bets is always good. Never a bad thing to win a lot of bets. My button here. Make sure we're trying to get these messages. I want to hear what you guys got to say. So here we go, week 11. Another really good game. Divisional implications here. Washington going to play Philadelphia on Thursday. I know what people are going to want to ask me about is the Broncos getting a field goal blocked to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the inevitable. They are Thanos. They are everything every NFL team wants to be. Great quarterback, great skill position players, great coaches, and things bounce their way, just like the Patriots were. Chiefs are just a new model of that. And so hard to beat. You have to play the perfect game, which Denver played their perfect game, I would say. Not necessarily the perfect game for everybody, but they played their perfect game. And the Chiefs still figured out how to block a field goal to win the game. So again, it is the inevitable. It's okay. I remember stomping the Chiefs for years and years and years as a Bronco, Elway dominating them. So it's not a huge deal, but still, would be nice to beat them here and there. But anyway, so let's get to this Washington Philly game. All right. Why does that keep zooming in and out? My phone is new and it's smart and it's smarter than me, and it does things I don't like it to do. So Washington going to Philly, Thursday night game, short week. Washington is coming off a heartbreaker to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh got that done. 1 point game. It was a great game. Two really good football teams going at it. Russell Wilson dropped a couple moon balls. Daniels played pretty well against that tough Pittsburgh defense. Scored a lot of points. Did well. He played really well. Pittsburgh probably should have been up more than that. They did fumble on the goal line, which gave Washington a lot of life in that one. But still, Washington was in the game. It wasn't like they were getting run over. It wasn't like they were getting manhandled. I'm trying to figure out why my chat ain't coming up. Hopefully you guys are actually chatting, and I just can't see it. If I can figure out how to hit this button. There we go. So far, no chats. I guess y'all don't want to talk to me today. That's fine. Hey, Googs, there you are. Good test, Googs. Thank you, sir. Well, Philadelphia's laying 3.5 at home here. The total is 48.5. Both of those numbers are kind of scary. I do think this one's going to have a ton of points in it. I do think it's going to be similar to Baltimore and the Bengals. I don't think either of these teams can really, truly play defense very well. And just to give you a little hint on the Eagles, what's up, Goose? In the last 4 games, the Eagles have really turned it on offensively. They've scored 28, 37, 28, and 34. I mean, the Eagles' offense is humming now that A.J. Brown is back and in good shape here. They are just a machine right now. Washington, not so much. The Jalen Daniels injury, it hurt, and they're not as productive. What's up, Ben Bork? They're not quite as productive, which is a big deal for them because a lot of their offense is predicated on defenses being afraid of him running. So when he's not really running and are not as effective running, I think we've seen that a little bit. Not that he can't throw the football; he's a really good throw the football too. But I'm gonna go. everything here is telling me to take Washington just because I think they'll keep the game close. But I'm actually gonna take Philadelphia here, and I'm gonna like. And what? Hold on. Let me back this up. I think Philadelphia is gonna win this football game. And when I'm saying take, I don't mean I'm not betting on them. Hello, Fuzzy. I'm not betting on Philadelphia to win the game, but I do think they will win the game. So let me back that up. I'm not taking Philadelphia, but I do think they'll cover this three. Not enough to bet on it, but I do think they'll cover it. Hello, Has. And I think it's just because Washington is starting to kind of hit their wall with the rookie. Teams are starting to figure out how to play him a little bit. And I just think that at this point in time, Philadelphia is the hotter football team. I think Philadelphia is on a roll. Their offense is on a roll. That doesn't do anything for their defense. Their defense is still crap, as far as I'm concerned. But I do think they get this done. I actually think this might get out of hand a little bit for Washington because I don't think they're going to be able to stop Philadelphia from doing anything Philadelphia does on offense, whether throw the ball, run the ball, throw it to Barkley. There's just Philadelphia is so multiple on offense. They do so much. And with Saquon Barkley, he kind of unlocked all their ability, and they have good receivers, good tight end, reasonably good offensive line. It's just, and then they play every down as 1st and 9, not 1st and 10 for them, which is a huge deal. But so I actually think Philadelphia gets this done at home. I think we're going to start seeing a little bit of a regression from Washington. I actually think we're in the middle of it already. I actually think they're kind of taking some steps back. Let's not forget they could have lost to Chicago if not for the Hail Mary. I mean, so Washington has had some hiccups lately, where Philadelphia has turned it on and they're full speed, looking really good. So let's talk about some props in this game because that's where I think most of the value is. I think Jaden Daniels over 226 passing yards is a gimme. I don't think he's gonna be able to. I think he's gonna have to throw the ball, and the Eagles don't stop the pass very well. They're one of the worst in the league at stopping the pass. 226 is pretty low. I think he gets closer to that 300 number in this one. And because of that, I like him to throw over 1.5 passing touchdowns. This is plus money when I just bet it. And I like Jalen Hurts to throw over 1.5 passing touchdowns. This is also plus money. So if as long as you kind of act like those are one bet there, don't parlay them. What I'm saying is that as long as one of those bets hits, you're gonna make a little money there. Hopefully both of them hit, but I think one of them for sure will hit. And I like the over. I'm going with the over. I think over 48.5. I do think there's 7 touchdowns in this game. I would be highly surprised if the first half over 23.5 doesn't get there as well. I think it probably gets there relatively easy. I think both teams probably score 2 touchdowns in the first half. I may be wrong on that. But even if one team scores 14, one team scores 10, that still beats that 23.5. I didn't bet it. I probably will bet it as we get closer to the game, but I haven't bet it yet. And as kind of a surprise, I like a Barkley and Terry McLaurin touchdown parlay. So I'm betting both guys to score a touchdown in a parlay. Saquon Barkley and Terry McLaurin, I think they both will score in this game. So I like those guys to both get a touchdown. Now, guys, you could bet McLaurin's receiving yards. You could bet A.J. Brown's receiving yards. You could bet Saquon Barkley's total yardage. But they were all handicapped well, in my opinion. They were all real close to where they're going to be. That's why I stayed away from it. Daniels' yardage, I think, is way too low. That's why I like that one. So let's recap the Thursday game really quick. I like Jaden Daniels over 226.5 passing yards. I like Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I like Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I like Washington and Philadelphia to go over the 48.5. And I like Barkley and Scary Terry McLaurin to both score a touchdown. I'm parlaying them. I'm putting them together because you didn't get very odds betting them individually, but you got good odds if you parlay them. So that's where I'm at in this one, guys. I think this is going to be another high scoring, crazy game. Just like last Thursday, I think we're going to see a lot of passing and a lot of scoring. So I imagine Barkley's going to have a day. But we'll see what happens. Again, it's still Thursday night, still short weeks. And I do think that Philadelphia wins the game. And I do think Washington could somewhat be on lay an egg watch after the letdown. And they're going to be less good at preparing for Thursday games, than a rookie quarterback. It's not going to be as good as veterans. No, that's not going to factor too much, but it is on the road. So there's a lot there, a lot to unpack. Sorry, not a long road trip, but it is Philadelphia. It is hard to play in that stadium. All right, so let's go to Sunday's games. I didn't have a lot on here that I thought was super great. I do think there's some underdogs that are going to win outright. I think Pittsburgh is going to beat Baltimore outright. Now, people are going to go, really? Baltimore's offense is so good. But if you know the history of Pittsburgh and Baltimore, Pittsburgh makes these games into like 10-7 games and 16-13 games. They keep these games really low scoring and really close. I don't know if they can do that this year just because Baltimore's defense is so terrible. But I don't think Pittsburgh should be an underdog on the road. I mean, underdog at home when they have a better record than Baltimore. And in my opinion, they've played just as well. It's just been different kind of football. Baltimore could easily have two more losses if Cincinnati just does one thing different. They could easily have lost two more times. So, where Pittsburgh's wins were all pretty solid wins except for this last one. And Pittsburgh did kind of have a miracle Dallas late drive to get a loss. So keep that in mind. I think Pittsburgh getting 3 points here is a really good bet. Anytime these two teams play, it generally is a really close game, really low scoring game. I don't think this one will be so low scoring because I do think Baltimore will score. But I don't think Baltimore will be able to stop Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's offense, since Russ has been there, is actually really good. Because Russ is there and there's the potential that he'll throw it deep, it's making it easier for Pittsburgh to run the football. Guys, Pittsburgh is a dark horse to really, really do something this year. Keep that in mind. Defense is good. Offense is coming along. And they kind of snuck up on people early. Now people are starting to realize, these guys are good again. And Russ is playing probably the best football he's played since 5 or 6, 7 years ago. And Pittsburgh can run the football. And I don't think Baltimore can stop the run or the pass. So Baltimore's not going to be able to pull away in the game. And Pittsburgh's defense is definitely the better unit. And they tend to do really well against Lamar. So I expect them to cause a lot of problems. I understand Derrick Henry's there, but you know what? Pittsburgh's played against Derrick Henry before. So I like Pittsburgh plus the 3. Another one is I think Atlanta going to Denver is bad for Atlanta. I think Denver's defense is good enough to contain Atlanta, and I like Denver to win that football game. That is not a homer play. I just think Denver on the money line. They're -2. I'm not going to lay the 2 points. I'm just going to play the money line. I think Denver wins that football game. I think Denver is at least a comparable football team to Atlanta, and then on the road in altitude, and it's been snowing there and stuff, so it's probably really cold. Dome team Atlanta. I just think this is a recipe for Denver to get a win here. I think Atlanta, this is a really bad scheduling spot for them. And coming off kind of an ugly loss, I think they drop another one. Kentucky State covered. That's awesome. They were getting close there. I'm glad they did get it. Yeah, that's cool. We needed that because the rest of the day wasn't going very good at all. It looks like Seton Hall might do something. So, what we're talking about is stuff that was on the Discord. I post bets on the Discord that I make every day. So if you want to join my Discord, all you do is send me an email at wagermethis@gmail.com, and you can join the Discord and get all my other information. And it's 100% free of charge besides a little bit of banter. All right. Next one is I like the Rams -5 against New England. I think the Rams are coming off a very poorly played football game um, that they had every chance in the world to win and figured out how to not win. So I think they go to New England, and I think they get right up there. They are laying 5, which is a really weird number to be laying. Laying 5 is like the 5 point spread is the weirdest spread I think in football because it doesn't really make sense for anything, right? Five, why is it not 4, 4.5, or 6 or 6.5? Like 5 is so weird. It's in such a weird spot. It does protect against teasers, and I think that's what they were worried about here. If they make it 6, everyone teases it, and I think that's it because really 5 is such a just an oblong, goofy number in handicapping NFL. But I like the Rams -5. This is going to shock people, but I like the Jets again this week -4. They're playing the Colts, and the Colts are playing Richardson again. They're putting him back in there. Richardson's going to struggle against the Jets. He's not going to play very well. The Jets are going to get as many million chances as it takes for Rodgers to score, which it might take all of those. But I like the Jets -4 here. I think this is a good spot for the Jets, and especially if you need the Jets in a survivor. This is a pretty good spot for that. If you're still involved in survivor at this point, if you are, you're getting real close to some money, I bet. So the last one, this is the one that everyone is going to be caring about this week, and that's Buffalo against Kansas City. And Kansas City's getting points. Every time Kansas City's getting points, I like to take them. Kansas City covers when they're getting points a lot. When they're laying points, they hardly ever cover. But when they're getting points, they cover a whole bunch. And you're getting the better team getting points that's undefeated, that is trying to be undefeated, that this is their only real threat at the 1 seed at this point. Because Kansas City's surely going to win most of the rest of their games, and Buffalo only has 2 losses. So if Kansas City beats them, that almost assures Kansas City the 1 seed. I mean, don't get me wrong, anyone can go on a losing streak, it can happen. But most likely Kansas City doesn't. So Buffalo is like the last obstacle in their way here. They got to go up to Buffalo. The weather doesn't bother Kansas City because Kansas City's a cold weather team anyway, so that's not a big deal in this one. And Kansas City wins in Buffalo. They won the playoffs there last year, so it's not like they can't. And I don't think Buffalo's team offensively is all that scary to Kansas City defensively. I don't think they threaten Kansas City in the ways that hurt them because I don't outside of Josh Allen, Kansas City, I mean Buffalo doesn't have just really premier offensive talent. Dalton Kincaid is probably on his way to being a really good tight end, but the rest of the guys, even Amari Cooper's an older receiver if he's there, none of those guys they're not top tier talent, and Kansas City will scheme around Josh Allen, I'm sure. That's what they'll try to do. And generally, these games have been really close. In fact, the Bills have beat them in the regular season quite a few times now. But they lose this one. Kansas City goes up there and keeps their record intact, undefeated, because this game matters. This game has other significance as far as playoff seeding goes. So they're prepared for this. They go up there and they get it done. I'm not going to say they might get it done by 1. I don't know, but they're getting points. So I'm taking the money line. I'm not going to take the points on the teaser. I will take the points, but as far as right here, I'm just taking the money line. That way I can get the little plus money. So I like Kansas City on the money line here. Not a surprising pick. They're undefeated. So I guess until they lose, we'll just keep betting on them. You know what I mean? Makes a lot of sense, I think. So to recap my Sunday picks, that's the last one I got. There wasn't a lot. I didn't. There wasn't just a lot that are like, man, this is a really good play. There's a ton of props that I think are good, but you really have to get on my Discord for that. I'm not going to go through a million props on here. So I like Pittsburgh +3. I like Denver money line. I like the Rams -5. I like the Jets -4, and I like Kansas City on the money line. If you guys have any questions about any of the games, this is feel free to start asking, because other than that, otherwise, I'm gonna turn this off and watch the Laker game. Austin Reeves, I live where he's from, so I always try to watch him, put a little money on him here and there. So there you go. Any questions about any games? Give you all my opinion on them. Yeah, Austin Reeves. So I like watching him. That's what I do. I'm not a huge Laker fan or not. I'm a Nuggets fan, but I do like watching Austin Reeves. So tonight I bet on his points and his rebounds, or points and assists together. Points and assists. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. We didn't have any weird commenters this time, Googs, which is cool. Kind of not cool. The weird guys were kind of cool. But anyways, thank you guys for your time. You have a great day. This is Jacob from Wager Me This. And y'all, if you want to join my Discord, wagermethis@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. I'll send you an invite. Y'all have a great night.